Hello, dear friends. Today is November 5th, 2024, and this is the traditional review of the current battlefield map. Not much has changed on the map, though there are certain geo-confirmations and map adjustments. But before we begin, I would like to ask you to subscribe to the channel. Your subscription supports its growth. Thank you. Let's begin with the southern Donetsk direction. If the offensive pace remains steady, the settlements of Shakhtyorskaya, Yasnaya Polyana and Maximovka are fully under the control of the armed forces of the Russian Federation. From Yasnaya Polyana, Russian forces are moving toward Razdolnoye. However, there are no significant map changes yet. Reports indicate that the Russian armed forces are consolidating their presence in these settlements, supplying reinforcements, and expanding their control around these locations. There is also information that Russian forces plan to advance not only toward Razdolnoye, but also toward the settlement of Sukhye Yali. Let's look at the map's direction. As you can see, movement will occur in two directions. While a good road leads to Razdolnoye, the route to Sukhye Yali passes through fields, and given the weather, military equipment cannot use the field roads until there are hard frosts. For now, this information remains tentative, awaiting confirmation. We will receive verification only when there is concrete evidence of the Russian armed forces moving in a certain direction. Let's continue monitoring this section of the front and move on. In the settlement of Trudovoy, the Russian armed forces have established control. There are no geomaterials for this yet, so the map remains unchanged. But typically, geomaterials appear 2 to 3 days after settlements are captured. We may see some reports by tomorrow. There is also news that Russian forces, having secured their position in Trudovoye, began an attack on Uspanovka this morning. Capturing Uspanovka would cut the supply route to Yelizavetovka, potentially bringing the entire area under control. With the wet ground and equipment stuck in muddy conditions, supplying Yelizavetovka via field roads is challenging. We may assume that to avoid encirclement, the Ukrainian armed forces will have to abandon these settlements. There are also changes east of Bogoyavlenka, where reports suggest only one stronghold under Ukrainian control remains. We await geomaterials to update the map. Let's move directly to Yelizavetovka. Reports indicate that Russian forces attempted an armored assault on the settlement, with footage showing Russian military equipment damaged near the bridge. Whether the Russian military secured the settlement's outskirts will become clear soon. Additionally, in Antonovka, there is information that Russian forces are clearing the settlement, with some Ukrainian soldiers reportedly taken prisoner. There's no confirmation yet of full Russian control over the settlement, but if the clearing continues, we may soon hear that Antonovka is fully under control. Now let's proceed to the Kurakov direction. In Kurakovo itself, there are no map changes due to a lack of geo-confirmation, but reports from the area suggest that the first defense line in the eastern part of Kurakovo is in the grey zone. Ukrainian sources report that defending Kurakovo is becoming increasingly difficult as Russian forces maintain a presence in the northern part of the reservoir. Most likely, they mean the settlements of Stepanovka and Ilinka. The only advantage for Ukrainian forces right now is the weather, which complicates Russian armed forces' advances. Moving slightly north, there are no map changes for Volchenka, Stepanovka and Ilinka, though reports indicate Russian forces are present in these locations. We await geomaterials to update the map. In terms of Novoselidovka and Kremenaya Balka, Ukrainian sources report that forces are retreating from these areas via field roads. Further north, in the Selidovo area, Russian forces are assaulting Novo-Alexeyevka, with geomaterials showing a Russian flag established on the eastern outskirts of the settlement. Ukrainian sources also shared materials from Vishnevoy, where Russian forces attempted to advance on Grigorovka, with infantry units moving through forest strips near the railway, aiming to secure the settlement. However, the attack was repelled by the Ukrainian armed forces. In Donetsk, Russian forces continue their assault operations with intense fighting for every building entrance. The situation is very challenging for both sides, with Ukrainian forces reinforcing daily to sustain their defense. Reports indicate that the situation here for the Ukrainian armed forces is nearing a critical point, as it is in Chasov Yar, where numerous foreign mercenaries are present. These are currently some of the hottest spots along the entire front line. Now, let's move to the Lyman direction, where Russian forces have consolidated in the northern part of Terny. Assault operations are ongoing in the center of the settlement, with geomaterials showing Russian bombings of Ukrainian temporary positions. Moving to the Kupiansk direction, although there are no map updates, there are reports that Russian forces have significantly advanced in the forested areas south of Golubovka. Russian forces are also making substantial progress in Petropavlovka. As you know, map updates are made only after receiving verified information and geomaterials. Finally, let's look at the Kursk direction. No map updates here, but numerous reports indicate preparations by Ukrainian forces for a decisive push that could undermine Russian advances and damage Russia's reputation, impacting the morale of Russian troops. There is also talk of North Korean troops being present in this area, suggesting that the situation may soon escalate here. That's all the news for today. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Our channel advocates for a diplomatic solution to this conflict, hoping both sides reach a peaceful resolution soon.